in the years after high school, we learn a lot about ourselves. And in that process, a lot of us, you realize, you look around at your little high school friend group and you realize that everybody is some kind of queer. We set up a thread on the Discord and we had members of the Yingferno submitted their favorite r/am I the asshole threads, and we will be reading through them and voting today. We're definitely the right people to judge. Oh yeah. What else is the internet for, if not for judging random strangers whose full lives context you could never possibly know? It's part of the fun. Moni made a document for me called the Asshole Courtroom. And she wrote substitute titles for a lot of these so that I wouldn't know before clicking into them what's actually happening in the thread. Since a lot of the times for r/am I the asshole, you find out kind of in the title, right, what's happening. So we're gonna show a poll on screen when it's time to vote. I'll put it, let's put it right here. And then y'all can vote basically for the option that you think is true after we've read through the thread. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Am I the Asshole, there are a few key acronyms that happen in this subreddit. The first one is YTA, you're the asshole. The second one is NTA, which is not the asshole, which means that the OP, the person who posted this question, is not the asshole. The third one is no assholes here, NAH, which means like no one here is an asshole in this post, in this story. Number 4 is ESH, which is everyone sucks here, which is basically like you're all assholes. And then the fifth one usually is just all caps info when you see it in the replies, but oh my god, the replies, Twitter brain rot. I guess they are replies, I don't know. Posts, whatever, I don't care. But usually you'll see all caps info and that just means more info needed. But in this poll, I just put more info needed because it's not actually an acronym. So when I finish it, it like solidifies the result and then I can hide it. So yeah, that's how we'll do it, okay? Let me hydrate real quick. Ooh. Let's get some homophobia in here. This one is titled Homophobic Old People. Oh dear. Am I the asshole for not telling my mom about my fiance's sexuality? I, 27M, proposed to my girlfriend, Ellie, 28F, and she said yes. We've dated for 6 years, lived together for 3, raised 2 cats together, and talked about marriage and having children for a long time. Title clarification. My fiance is bisexual. Before we started dating, we were friends since freshman year of college. When I met her, she identified as a lesbian, which wasn't a problem for me. I even met a couple of her ex-girlfriends and supported her through her breakups. Later, she realized that she was bisexual, and again, I supported her. Then we started dating, and I've never been happier. That's actually a very sweet story. From the start of our relationship, I made it clear to her that her sexuality wasn't an issue for me and that I accepted her for who she is. However, she's not openly bisexual as she doesn't feel that her sexuality is anyone else's business. For that reason, I never felt the need to tell my mom about her sexuality as I never considered it a problem or a topic of conversation, just a fact. I do the same thing. If it's not like relevant and if OP's girlfriend isn't volunteering the information, then it doesn't matter. When I went home for dinner, I told my mom about the engagement. She was very happy since I'm an only child and she sees Ellie as the daughter she never had. A couple of my friends who know about Ellie's sexuality went over to the house and we had a few drinks. Drunk, one of my friends commented, "How does it feel to marry someone who slept with more girls than you?" in front of my mom. I mean, the friend didn't know that the moms didn't know, right? Like, I don't think the friend realized they were being an asshole, right? Because like, if you don't know, and if they're openly bisexual, and you don't realize that like the parents don't know, I think the friend was just drunk. Man, I might have done that. I probably have done shit like this, to be honest. After my friends left, my mom asked me for an explanation and I revealed my fiance's sexuality to her. A little confused, she said, "Well, now that she's with you, she's not like that anymore, right?" And I denied it. "No, she's still bisexual," to which my mom got a little mad. "How can you marry a lesbian?" she asked me. No, wait, okay. I don't even know where to start. I explained to her that bisexual is not the same thing, but according to her, if she has been with women, she is a lesbian. I decided not to argue with her and went back to my house. Okay. The next day, Ellie showed me a voice message she received from my mom telling her horrible things and refusing to have a daughter-in-law who uses her son as a screen to hide that she's a carpet muncher. What? shit. Oh my fucking God. I probably would have committed murder. Like, I think I would have gone and murdered someone. Oh my fucking God. I saw red and called my mom. Instead of apologizing, she was offended that I wasn't on her side and outed my fiance in front of our entire family. Now some religious relatives are opposed to coming to our wedding, even though my cousins and a couple of uncles and aunts are on our side. It's wild because they're like, it's literally still, it's like a heterosexual couple. This was only 2 months ago. I was like, what year is it? 2 months ago. It was this year. Oh my goodness. This has been very stressful and hurtful for my fiance since their sexuality was always a sensitive issue for her. Her mom still doesn't accept it and kicked her out for it. Oh, that's fucked up. And all this hate towards her makes me fear that she might decide to call off the wedding. My mom's not generally homophobic. Ah. So this new attitude of hers surprises me and makes me think that if I told her before, maybe she wouldn't have reacted this way. So am I the asshole? You know what this tells me is that it's one of those like parents where they're like, oh, it's fine if people are gay as long as they're not like my child. You know the parents that are like that? Because my parents were kind of like that. And a lot of my friends' parents were kind of like that. Yeah, they're like, oh, I don't have anything against gay people. In theory. Okay, it's time to run the poll. I agree. Yeah, 3. I agree. Definitely not the asshole. I'm curious, what do you all think others are saying about this? Not the asshole. Keep sticking up for your fiance. Sorry to tell you, but yes, your mom is generally homophobic. She's showing you who she is. Your mom is NIMBY homophobic. That is a real thing. NIMBY homophobic. Oh my God, is that not the perfect term for what I was saying earlier? About how like some people are like, oh, I don't have anything against gay people unless it's like my child. That's NIMBY homophobic. That's like, I don't have a problem with homeless people, but not in my backyard. I don't have a problem with affordable housing, but not in my backyard. I don't have a problem with public transit, but not in my backyard. Okay, for those of you who don't know what a NIMBY is, NIMBY stands for not in my backyard, and it generally is used to describe the types of people who like, it generally has to do with like urban planning and like where to put like homeless shelters and affordable housing and like where, public transit, right? Like things that like affluent communities often consider, I don't know, like it brings crime or like, like NIMBYs are the types of people who would be like, you can build that, but not in my backyard. I don't have anything against homeless people, but not in my backyard. That's what a NIMBY is. Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for voting. We got 100% not the asshole. Okay, I'm glad we're like unanimous on this one. OP is not the asshole. Yeah, a couple of minutes ago when half the chat was like, that's my parents. Oh no. I'm really sorry that we're all collectively going through this. If it is any consolation, my mom has come around. I don't think she fully understands my labels, nor have I fully explained them to her ever, because I just don't want to have that conversation, to be honest. But she has several times now said things along the lines of like, I don't care who you bring home as long as you find someone you love. And like the change in language choice there has been very refreshing and reassuring. And this is coming from like definitely a previously very homophobic human being. So character development, exactly. And I hope that you all also have similar experiences. Even if it's not your direct parents, I hope that other people in your life who may not be super supportive will come around at least. Found family is family too, y'all. Never forget that. I'm happy for me too, nice. Thank you. Not telling my parents anything because they wouldn't even get it. Yeah. I'm just not gonna have the conversation. I tried a few times to explain, like, God, the one thing I definitely never tried to explain was like asexuality. But in terms of being non-binary and in terms of being like pan-romantic, I was like, I can try. My mom seems to be okay with me not getting married if I don't want to, but simultaneously seems convinced that I will because she always says when you get married to a man. And I don't know how to tell her I'm aro ace. S Wong, I'm gonna try not to say your name. S Wong, first of all, hello. Second of all, I'm sorry. I haven't had the aro ace conversation either. I almost feel like it's harder to explain than like being pan-romantic, which was like very easy. I was just like, I don't care. I don't care what your gender identity is. If you're hot, you're hot. Man, woman, I'm just looking for health insurance. The parents realizing they aren't getting grandchildren is what makes that convo harder, I'd imagine, particularly in Asian cultures. That's true. But I can adopt? I could do in vitro fertilization. There's a lot that I could do if I really wanted kids. Parents shipping their kids is why I stopped telling my parents about my friends. Oh my God. Oh my God, the best one was, I used to be shipped a lot with like a friend of mine. And then, I don't know if y'all have this experience, okay? But like, you go to high school, right? You have your little group of high school friends. Everyone is like, as far as we know, like cis het pretty much is like the assumption. And like, no one really just, like we never, like no one talks about it. No one really explores it. We're all just little nerds in high school because we're a little nerdy friend group. And then we graduate from high school and we go to college. And in college, we learn a lot of things about ourselves, or some of us wait until after college. But either way, like in the years after high school, we learn a lot about ourselves. And in that process, a lot of us, you realize, you look around at your little high school friend group and you realize that everybody is some kind of queer. I was like, shit. Like 90% of my high school friend group turned out to be some kind of queer. And if anything, I was one of the last ones to figure it out for myself. And so like, because of that, my parents have shipped me with multiple people now who turned out to be trans femme. And then so like multiple times now, my parents will be like, so like, how's so-and-so doing? And I'll be like, oh, they actually go by like these pronouns now and they're trans femme. And then my parents will be like, great. They just like change the topic. Once in a while I get problematic. My mom will usually just move on. It's such a time, y'all. Yeah, it's just my dad. My dad, once in a while, like the third time this happened, my dad was like, why is everyone trans? But he said it in a way that like implied mental illness, and I was like, we're moving on now. I'm not discussing this with you right now. Internal parents dialogue. Fuck, what about that other person? They're also trans femme. What the fuck? Just smile, continue to smile. Smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. Mama Ying. Anyways, exactly. Anyways, Ying, you're so bad at cooking. Come over and help me cut this vegetable. So, there are two, am I allowed to? It must be okay. There are two titles here that are related to each other. One of them is titled Pissgate. The other one is titled Pissgate 2, a different Pissgate. Somehow there was a lot of piss on this. So I think we're gonna click Pissgate. Am I the asshole for not taking in my brother-in-law who peed on my stuff and blamed my cat? Oh my God, this reminds me of a story we had in college. There was a person going around our dorm in college. This was like the year before I started at that school. For like a semester, for some reason, there was someone leaving like turds. Oh my God, I remember what they called this person. They called this mysterious pooper the Mad Shatter. And this person was just going around the dorm buildings at my college and leaving little piles of poop, I don't know, little turds around campus. The funniest one to me was in one case, there was someone who like in their dorm room, they had attached like you know, those like butt cushions on your, like, cause you always have like really uncomfortable wooden chairs in your dorms in college, right? So they attached like a butt cushion to their chair so that they could sit more comfortably. And the Mad Shatter somehow got into their room. Instead of just taking a shit on the chair, like with the seat protector, they lifted the butt cushion as if it were a toilet seat and took a shit on the wooden chair underneath it. It's one of the funniest stories. I have no idea if it's real, but constantly the upper class people were being like, oh, this is real, this actually happened. And we're like, can't tell if the entire freshman class is being gaslit or not, but either way, it's a funny story. It stopped after that year, but the Mad Shatter is a legend. What a legend, a proper ledge. Storytime detour over, back to Pissgate thread. Am I the asshole for not taking in my brother-in-law who peed on my stuff and blamed my cat? How long is this? Oh my God, it's long. Oh my God, it's long. We're not reading the whole thing. My 29 F, husband Ted, 34M, and I have been together for 10 years. We met early in college and dated all throughout. I graduated before him and took a semester for traveling while he finished so we could move to another state. He ended up having to repeat some classes, so when I came back, we couldn't move yet. And I had no place of my own, so I moved in with him and his roommate and brother, Ash, 32M, while Ted finished school. This is a ride? Okay, I'm scared. Before moving in, I made sure that Ted cleared it with Ash that I was bringing my male cat with me. They had a dog who was old, but Ash said he was fine with it. About 3 weeks after moving in, I started noticing that our bedroom started to smell a lot like pee, and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Oh no, I can see where this is going. My cat is toilet trained, so I knew it wasn't him, and the dog couldn't go into our room because it was on the second floor and he had hip problems. I started finding clothes on the floor smelling like pee. I asked Ted. He said he had no idea. After 3 months of frustration, and this happening about 2 times a week, I asked Ash if he was bringing the dog upstairs, but he said no. Ash suggested it was my cat marking his territory. I set up a camera in our room. I was paying rent, boyfriend knew about it, so I figured this was the way to find out where the pee was coming from. Lo and behold, Ash was coming into our room and peeing on my stuff. But why? But why though? Why? How come? For why? Pourquoi? Wait, when I saw the video, I packed my things and cat and went to stay with a friend until Ted finished college and we moved. I refused to confront him because EW and Ted dealt with that. He was the best man at the wedding, but we tend to keep clear of each other at family gatherings. Ash lost his job because of the pandemic, struggling financially, asked if he could move in with us. I don't want to because he peed on my stuff. He was a grown-ass man. Am I the asshole? Am I holding a grudge because he peed on my stuff? But he's losing his home. His cat deserves a home too. It was made very clear that I cannot just take in his cat and leave him to the elements. I know I'm justified, but now Ted said he couldn't do that to his brother and the job market is better here for his type of job. What? Yeah, he was the best man. I know, I have some questions too. A few questions. Is he in therapy? He was last I checked after pissgate. His mom made him go. That's how we found out. Why was he in the wedding? When we were getting married, the party was more for our parents. We didn't mind the courthouse. Parents wanted a big wedding. We couldn't exclude him. Ted and Ash are best friends. Okay, but why are they still best friends? Why are you still best friends with some dude who peed on your girlfriend slash fiance slash wife's stuff? It is disturbing that this feels real to me though, because it's so like detailed, you know? And I just believe that people would be this fucked up in the head. Like, PTSD, no! No, PTSD! No, yeah. The real question is Ted the asshole? OP is certainly not the asshole, right? I think that's like pretty much unanimous. Is Ted the asshole? Is Ted the asshole? I think we gotta do it. Ooh, I'd like to give a big FU to the messages telling me that I probably had it coming, that I wanted it, or that I deserved it. I hope the pee man visits you and pees on your toothbrush. I like OP. Stay hydrated. I'd start throwing the stuff he peed on in his bed. Okay, well, anyways, I think we should update this poll to be, instead of you're the asshole, just assume that says yes, the asshole. That's our poll. Is Ted the asshole? Am I allowed to vote? I'm voting yes. Ted is the asshole. Why are they still married? Are they still married? Maybe that's what this update is. I sat down with Ted. He apologized immensely. We cried together. His family's complicated. Not rocking the boat was embedded into his heart. They both are going to individual therapy. And the therapist suggested they do couples therapy too. He ordered a t-shirt that says the most okayest human in the universe to cheer me up. Wait, no. Oh boy. I don't know, this wasn't that funny. I'm just kind of stressed out. All right, anyways, we made it through. I'd agree Ted is an asshole. I can go on a long tangent as to why Ted is probably going about the way they are now, but bottom line is, despite how good of friends you are, you can't just let these things pass without consequence. That's true. It's true. It is just sad and frustrating now. Yeah, that's true. All right, yes, Ted is the asshole. Sentenced.